Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do Bleach, Kubo. Yo, let me just say this. The cover page of this week's chapter of Bleach, where you see Kenpachi's face, I was like, yo, that's nasty. Like, Kenpachi looks like he's about to sodomize someone. Like, yeah. Well, no, obviously he's not smiling. He's Kenpachi. But you get my point. He just looks fierce. He looks like a full-blooded tiger. So yeah, he has tiger blood. If there's anyone who has tiger blood, it's Kenpachi. And Kenpachi Zaraki is about to go ham. And it's unfortunate because this chapter is actually more set up for the fight between Grammy, or I want to call him Roxas, but now that we actually know his name, I can't call him Roxas anymore. But between Grammy and Kenpachi. So this is Bleach chapter 573. And by the way, if you're wondering, if you just so happen to glance, just to perceive what's behind me, that right there is due to the efforts of the patrons on patreon.com, the Raichus, and someone out of those Raichus is going to win a PlayStation 4. Like I said before. Alright, don't doubt the king, because what the king says goes. This is my world. Alright, I am Grammy. I am the reality warper. On my channel, I alter wherever the fuck I want to alter, and I do whatever the hell I want to do. So, the thing here is this. I want to give big ups to the Raichus who made that possible. And if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be a part of other great prizes and that kind of stuff, then simply go down in the description box below on patreon.com and grab your Thunderstone. Evolve from a Pikachu to a Raichu. That's the way it is. Blah damn. And someone's winning that. And by the way, for the international guys, don't worry about it. I'll cover the shipping. That is what it is. Now, that being said, this week's chapter, again, is a very simple chapter because all it really is it's telling you, well, first of all, Kenpachi actually reveals that, in fact, he did kill Unohana Yachiru. So she's dead. She should not come back. If Kenpachi said, if what he said is actually true, and there is no reason for us to assume that he's lying, none, zero, then Unohana Yachiru is dead. And we are never going to know what her Bankai did. Out of all of the Bankais, I think that was the most disappointing Bankai ever. Because we never get to see, because we never knew what it did. It was just random. It made no sense, alright? Like, so, I have no idea. Maybe Kubo will clarify in an interview or some kind of data book about what her powers in her Bankai state were. Again, we don't know. I don't know, at least, since I read the manga and there was no clarification within the manga itself. So again, maybe Kubo will explain it at another time. Now, when it comes to this battle going on, first of all, I forgot her name, I don't really care, the vice captain of the 4 squad, she's, shell-shocked because she was hoping that her captain would still be alive, but she's not. And at least she likes the fact, or she respects the fact that she died at the hands of a Shinigami. Wherein which, in comes Grammy, alright? The Visionary. So he's actually the real V. He's the real Vulcan, alright? He's the real V. And apparently, his powers, alright, it allows him to make what he imagines become reality. That's the way his powers work. So, in fact, that person that we saw before, the vanishing point, he was an imagination of Grammy. His powers, his concept, everything. And what I must point out is that it may have been done over a period of time. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's very hard to imagine a living being that can act on its own and do whatever it wants to do. And because the former Vanishing Point, the former V, he was a living being that acted on his own, that had his own unique powers, had his own mindset, and so on and so forth, his own emotions. It's very hard to imagine that. So I believe that when it came to creating the Vanishing Point, it took Grammy some time. That's my personal belief. But again, we don't know. He may clarify in the future. Who knows? However, he is the visionary, Grammy. And he is, quote-unquote, is the strongest Sternritter. There is no Sternritter stronger than him. So we have the strongest Sternritter against the strongest Shinigami, Zaraki Kenpachi, or of course by title, Kenpachi is the strongest Kenpachi. And what Grammy does is that he actually makes like a giant plateau within the city. So there's a giant plateau within the city, so they can have their epic battle. This, basically, it's a place of magnificence. It's a place to actually exalt the fighting itself. And just to give it, fair enough spotlight, where in which it's gonna go down. And when we have Grammy explain his powers, it's not magic, it's reality warping. Or it's altering reality based on his imagination. And Kenpachi's like, okay, fine, not a big deal. So he comes in there and cuts. And Grammy says, I imagined, what if, perhaps, my skin is tougher than the strongest steel? And then it doesn't matter. And Kenpachi, he comes down. Yeah. He comes down, and Grammy is wounded. And Grammy, hands in pocket still, so he's clearly not like that affected by it. But because his hands are still in the pocket. But he just comes down and you see the blood. And then Kenpachi, he's like, oh, what the fuck, bro? You're like, why you holding out, bro? You should have told me. You should have notified my ass that you were gonna turn into tougher than steel from the get-go. Cause then I would have planned to cut steel from the start. Like what the frick, bro? So Kenpachi seems a little bit salty, but it's in a really comedic way. And this actually leads to what his powers may be, Kenpachi, because I believe that this actually ties in to that weird like light novel book of some other dude, like some other Kenpachi, whatever. I forgot his name. I don't really care because it's not canon. I don't give a damn. Because like they hyped this dude up, right? Think about it. There was some dude in like a light novel that apparently Kubo like oversaw, or like some other guy. Like some other guy wrote it, but Kubo like agreed with it, like this is possible or something like that. And it was like this dude was hyped up, like he was insane power-wise. And Kenpachi beat him by raising his own power levels to that guy's power levels. So it goes along the lines of that concept that was, I think, dictated within the light novel that Kubo was a part of, or that he oversaw, or that he agreed with, wherein which Kenpachi Zaraki can actually like, deliberately raise his own power levels to the levels of his opponent, however he sees fit. But the odd thing was that even though he beat this one guy, he got stomped on. He got stomped on by a fake Yuha Bach by Royd. So, like, I hit my own finger. So, is it jam? No, it's not jam. The thing is, because, I'm working out, so if I go down my own finger, I may jam it, but whatever, let's move on. So, when it came to that notion alone, it seemed complete. It seemed like a complete farce. Like, it was just complete bullshit. But however, now that we're seeing Kenpachi go in against Grammy, and how he says, no matter what you imagine in your head, I can cut it. Well, we may just see Kenpachi all of a sudden, we may see what was dictated in the light novel come to fruition, wherein which we actually may see Kenpachi gain the power to cut through whatever he wants to and raise his power level to his individual's power. And that's where the chapter ends, because he pretty much states that and says, I am the Kenpachi. I am the strongest. So, that being said, the chapter overall, it's more setup. It's more setup for the next chapter of Bleach. However, that being said, I think it still is good stuff nonetheless. So, it's not as hyped. Oh, no. It's hype. But for some reason, I'm not, like, massively mega hyped. Like I was in the last chapter of Bleach. Because in the last chapter of Bleach, it was shocking. Out of nowhere, wall kick, Kenpachi, yo. And I'm like, oh, Kenpachi's here. However, and yeah, I know that some guys were mad about how the Yatru, how she didn't get any spotlight because, you know, in came, because, you know, Kubo, he's done that a lot, even when it came to Rukia. You know, and a lot of females in Bleach are like that, where in which they still need the man's help to come in there and assist them. I mean, the only one that is not like that is Yoriichi. Bankai 922.9 in one of his videos. And then, you know, it's very true. And I've said before, you know, a few times too, it's very, very true. The only female that I can actually get behind significantly is Yoriichi and Haribel in a way, because even though Haribel was underneath Aizen, she actually did lead Hueco on her own at some point in time. And then in came Yuha, I'm gonna steal you, I'm gonna take you in the back of the room, and we're gonna do the do. That's just the way it is. I'm gonna breed. So, whatever. I mean, that's a theory. It's not far off, probably, but again, we don't know. Because she's still chained up, Haribel. With that being said, I'm done. The chapter rating overall, I'm going to give a chapter rating of a good plus, and I will see you guys later. King of Lightning, be sure, of course, rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day. And if you want to be a part of this, simply go down and leave the description box below, patreon.com. Go.